Hello and welcome to episode 95 of I'm Fine, a chapter on the subjects of health, wealth and well-being with myself, Damo, and personal trainer, author and retired anarchist, Mark.
Less of the retired.
You're not an anarchist still, are you?
Yeah, I want to be.
You want to be? It might bring us on to that very subject, mightn't it?
Politics and anarchy.
I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. But the idea of there's injustice. I
Yeah.
don't like what's going on.
Yes.
I feel like smashing the shit out of something.
Yeah.
I might want to blow something up.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna sit on my arse and fucking moan about it.
Yeah. And it's
Do you know what I mean?
It's
Kind
quite-
of the life kind
and
of
it's cold outside.
Yeah,
There is that
and,
bit,
you know,
isn't
it's not so bad, is it? Really?
No.
It's not awful.
No. And there's something on the telly.
Yeah.
There's the great pottery throwdown or something. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out and miss that.
Isn't there a raft of programs? It's just the Bake Off, right? Exactly the same format, exactly the same break, the same structure of a program, but it's pottery. You know, it's sewing. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised I haven't turned the repair shop into some kind of competition. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But isn't the whole of television now beyond dumbing down?
Yeah.
Because everything has celebrities in.
Yeah.
And they had that Mark Chapman on something like The Chase or some quiz program, and he's just a fairly dour football
Oh, the
commentator,
the presenter.
and he isn't particularly characterful or
No,
so.
it's pretty boring, isn't he?
Watching
Nice fella, but-
watching him. But the thing that got me is that I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about The Wall with Danny Dyer,
Oh, Wall.
which we've alluded to before.
Yeah.
The whole thing about The Wall,
The Wall.
is the jeopardy
Yeah.
of. Well, very, very briefly, 30 seconds, basically.
You can explain what the Wall is all about.
So one person stays behind with Danny, and the other one goes to a booth, answers some questions,
Yeah.
but they don't know whether they've got the questions right or wrong or not.
Right.
And then they're given some money for each right question. So
Yeah. That's the family fortunes, isn't it? At the end, when they have to go into a booth and have headphones on, they can't
Similar,
hear anything. Okay,
similar.
Right.
But the person down below is sending out the balls on the wall, and
Balls.
can either lose all the money,
Yeah.
because if they get the answer right, it's like green balls, and then there's red balls if they get them wrong. And at the end of the day, they come with a figure. So what can happen is that the person who's answered the questions can have maybe earned 20 grand.
Right.
So, and the person who's doing the balls may have won 80 grand or may have nothing,
Right.
depending where the balls land.
Right.
But the person in the booth doesn't know this. So the person in the booth is then given a contract, and they either sign the contract to go, I'll take what I've earned, but they don't know how much they've earned because they don't know how many questions they got
I've
right.
had a lovely day. Take the money. Sorry.
And no, it's just I'm only laughing because I did that. I did it with a client.
What, that very
With
thing.
Russian spy.
I've had a
No.
lovely day.
No, I didn't do that one. I did. I'll see if I can remember it.
Not the BFH bus fare home.
No, I used to have the ability to do really quick sort of rhyming poetry really quickly, like freestyle.
Please have a go.
And this one was something like,
Please have a comeback right now. You're gonna do it, aren't you? You're gonna rap.
it was something
Oh.
like, I'm made of metal and I live on your drive. You fill me with rubbish and I keep you alive. And this was on Ted Rogers' 3-2-1.
Yeah.
And of course, you either win the bin
Yeah.
or the Lamborghini. So you go, and then he would give this rhyme. And
There's never a Lamborghini on that show.
But the people would then go, oh, that sounds like a bin, so I'll reject that one. So we go, right, you've rejected that. Let's look. And he'll like open the envelope and you go, I'm made of metal. That could be the Lamborghini. But of course, Dusty Bin is made of metal. And they're going, yeah, it's the bin. I live on your drive. You would keep your Lamborghini on your drive.
And the bin.
But a lot of people keep their bin next to their house and they go, oh, fuck, it isn't a bin. I fill you with rubbish. Well, we all know we don't look after our cars as well as we do.
Lambo or not.
So it is the Lamborghini.
Right.
And so everything says this is a bin.
And
It's not, but it's a car. But it's like Ted Rogers.
right, and you think game shows have come on, do you?
So
I mean,
on
the
the
way you're
wall,
describing the wall, I was about... Right, I still
which
know
is
what's
filmed
going
in
on.
Poland.
Right.
That's
Right,
ridiculous.
what's wrong with that, Mark?
No, because
The Polish
all,
can make TV shows too.
they can make them better than us. The Wall is a work of art.
Right.
They did one in this country, but they didn't get it finished. They also did one in America, but it's got a lot of gaps.
Yeah. It's about
Politics.
It's about 100 miles long.
Yeah. The fence.
Right, John goes off. He's got to get his headphones on.
So he decides.
You hop over the wall and he's got to come follow you, right?
Yeah.
See if you can get over without getting the sniper.
You could have Kamala Harris playing it, couldn't she? Because she hadn't been to the fence yet. No offence. And so anyway, that's basically what happens on the wall. So the jeopardy is.
So what happens on the wall again? Sorry.
So the person goes, either I'll take the. They don't know. They don't know how much the other person's
We've lost. Everyone's gone.
So they go in their head. I think I've won about 20 grand, so I can be safe and go, I'll take 20 grand.
Right.
Or I can hope that the balls are falling in my favour.
Right.
So when they go down, they have to face each other, the couple,
right.
and the guy or the woman that's been in the booth will go, and they go into a very sort of Martin Luther King type speech. It's really deadly serious because Danny wants it to be authentic Cockney.
Right.
So they will speak as Cockney's doing it. Well, Cockney Polish for the Polish audience.
Cockney?
So, Cockney, yeah. Cockles and eels and knees. So the guy will go to his partner. I think I did quite well on the questions. I think there was 5 I'm confident as, and I've worked out we're going to win £18,000. I didn't know whether to risk that you might have won more, but 18,000 will change our lives, and we can get that conservatory and the rattan furniture with that 18,000. So I've decided to sign the contract, and he'll bring the contract out with his signature on it.
Is this what they do on this?
Yeah. And then the other partner will know in their heads, either I've lost all the money because my balls fell badly.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a man in my 60s, I know about this. And then, or...
Oh, is that what was coming below the level of your shorts?
Yes.
I wonder what it was.
Thought for the day. So either they've lost all the money, but the other person knows, or they've won like 110 grand. So the other person's listening to this guy going, I have signed a contract, so we're 18,000 better. And she'll go, she has to talk through what happened, and she'll go, well, I put the balls down and we did well to start with, and then I lost £20,000 and we got back to 0. And with the last 3 green balls, they all fell in the 25,000. So we have 75,000. But of course she knows he signed the contract.
Right.
So it's like, you've lost 55 grand for signing that contract.
Muppets.
And she's there like looking dabbers, like you can shove your fucking rattan furniture up your arse.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if they've lost it all,
Yeah.
she's going, oh, God bless you, Governor, you've signed the contract. But it's a daft thing. He's
Right.
just guessing on something he has no... So it's basically saying, are you going to take £18,000?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to randomly guess
Right.
that you might have won or you might have lost?
So
But the jeopardy, the point... Sorry, let me interrupt.
There was jeopardy.
The jeopardy is that if you've got a couple making that decision, that's
I mean, whether they're going to end up
earth-changing.
divorcing or not.
But when you had on this, you had fucking Ronan Keating.
What's he doing on there? Oh, a celebrity one.
Yeah. And
Right.
his partner, and it's like,
Well, they don't need the money.
well, that's it. So they're doing it for
That's a
charity,
right?
but no one really cares.
Mark, what about charities?
Not really.
Yeah, you're right.
There is no dynamic of.
So if this is like dumbing down, they've obviously got an audience of at least one here.
I don't watch it regularly.
Piss
I'm not-
off.
No, I don't.
Do you? That's literally all you do by the sounds of it. I've
Well-
never seen it. I've only seen the adverts go, the wall. That's all I've seen. Thanks for it. If I was telling you, if I was regaling that one, you'd have fallen asleep, wouldn't you? You'd have done that. Oh, you'd done
Yeah.
a massive yawn on me.
The way you tell things. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have pathos
You what?
and gravitas.
Oh, we're back to the
And
three,
intonation.
three Musketeers again, aren't we?
Yeah, here's a question. Firstly, 3 musketeers, there was 4 of them. Secondly,
Yeah.
if they were musketeers, why did they use swords?
Oh, they're not muskets?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. that's a
you
good
don't
one.
call them the 4...
Swordeteers.
No, what are they called?
What?
People we saw, fencers. The 4 fencers.
Thought it hasn't got the same.
It's alliteration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Fascinating, Mark.
Hmm.
That's all we've got time for today.
This happens quite often.
It
Anyway,
does, doesn't it?
I was going to say you can skip the introduction. Joe Rogan doesn't do all this bloody Blarney at the
What,
beginning,
haven't-
does he?
We do less Blarney now.
Okay. go on then.
Blarney? Blarney.
Yeah.
Is that an Irish thing?
Yeah.
What, is there a stone, isn't there?
Yes.
Blarney stone.
And you kiss it.
What, the stone?
Mhm.
Right, have you kissed the Blarney stone? You're a man of the world. I'm
I've
surprised.
been
I'd put money on you having done that.
I've been to Ireland a lot. I went to, where did I go? Begins with K.
Kill Kelly. What? I don't know.
Fuck.
Kill Patrick.
It's where the two sisters saw the Virgin Mary.
I thought. Is this another game show?
Siobhan and... So they did.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary Ann. Mary Jane. Mary Jane Blake.
Mary Joseph. I've no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. It might not be
Kill It's got to be kill something,
no,
isn't it?
It's a tiny, tiny little village.
Cork. Is that a K or a C?
No, it's a curly I should be able to... It'll come to me in time. Basically, we went... There's an airport there now because these two sisters saw a vision of the Virgin Mary. And people go there on...
Where do you keep all this?
Well, I don't because I've forgotten the name of the place.
I mean, you keep enough
annoying.
of it to kind of... you get so far. You're going to have to find out while I do the rest of the intro.
Okay.
We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's a poke at our perfectly imperfect lives. And if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this madness,
Google
then
virgins. Sorry.
You're in a monologue. Our work here is done. I'm using my phone. What are you doing using my phone and putting that filth in?
There's no filth in this phone.
You can if you can follow us on Instagram at imfinecast and search all of our episodes by category and tag on our beautiful website, imfinecast.com. And feel free to drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com. Would you like to write some blog posts for our website? You haven't got time. Have you been an author?
I'm meant to be writing one for Amelia, actually, about an egg.
Right. Again, riveting. So in this episode, we've entitled this "Enough is Enough," and that's not French for an egg is an egg.
No,
is
that
it?
was clever.
Well, you know,
or an 8 is
I've been working on that all day. What?
Oh no, that's wheat.
What are you on about? You just ruined my joke.
It's a brilliant joke. I said it was
just
good.
ruined it.
No.
Listen back, and you'll realise that you ruined it.
Okay. Can you edit that bit out?
No. What? Edit you out? You might as well.
Give everyone a bit of a fucking rest. Except your mum.
So what? You can't do mum jokes in here. What was that about my mum? You leave her alone. So in this pod, it's entitled "Enough is Enough." We thought we'd try and explore two sides to excess.
Mm-hmm.
The first being kind of overload, overwhelm, which we've covered a lot on here, and the other being when does one have enough of whatever one has, be that money, material possessions, love.
Yes.
You know, shit stories about game shows. You know, when should people just go no more, Mark? That's it.
Just stop.
Yeah.
For the love of the Virgin
Everyone's had
Mary.
enough.
Yeah.
Right. Have you found it now?
Yeah. I'm going to give you a clue. I think you'll know this place. So.
Come in. What? Is this a joke? You meant to go knock knock? Nobody does that, Mark. Do they? When was the last time you did a knock knock joke?
That's the name of the place.
What, knock knock?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Knock Knock, a small village in Ireland. No, it's just called Knock.
Right. Hilarious.
No, it isn't. I said a big egg with K.
I'm really hot.
The Virgin Mary is the most popular visitor to Ireland shores. There is... oh, fucking hell.
Have you read that right? Have you read that right? The Virgin Mary is the most popular visitor to the shores of Knock. Is that...
Well, of Ireland as a whole. Okay, it was out of context, right. Forget UFO sightings and mysterious glimpses of big cats.
Right.
This is in the Irish Post, by the way, so it's real.
All right.
Ireland's holy apparitions is where it's at.
Yeah.
For hundreds of years, Irish people across the country have sworn that they were visited by holy visions. The Virgin Mary is seemingly the most popular visitor to the island shores. So she's the most popular apparition.
I mean, they're all pissed out their minds, aren't they?
Don't start.
What?
Don't start.
Don't start what?
That's my...
You've already got the Polish. What? That's your what? There's not one bit of you that's Irish.
There's a lot of me that's Irish.
Which bits?
About...
Top half,
so
bottom half.
my gran was
No,
Irish.
you were
My
Scottish.
granddad was Irish.
We've done your heritage.
Only a little bit of Scottish. I'm half Irish, Northern Ireland.
Are you?
My mum was Irish, yeah. My dad was English. So
all right,
that's
take it all
half, isn't
back.
Or was that a quarter? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But this next paragraph. This is the Irish Post.
Did she like a drink, your mother? Is that what? What?
I was just going to be. It wasn't going to be funny, right? I can't.
Did she ever have a vision of the Virgin Mary?
She was called Mary. So this is the next paragraph in the Irish Post. You'll like this. The debate of whether or not these visions are real still continues to this day. Like leprechauns, perhaps.
Yeah, and the moon landings.
But we're not here to ask philosophical questions and search our souls for the answers to the mysteries of the university. We're just here to count them down. So without further ado, here are 4 times an apparition has come to Irish people. I'm not going to go on, but
No, thank you.
they are giving that a loss of credibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like, yeah, Knock is the most famous. It's about 140 years ago. 3 life-size figures standing in the church grounds was seen by a village girl named Mary, as you predicted.
And it's just,
She spread the word.
Well, it's not a coincidence because everyone's drunk and everyone's called Mary in Ireland. So there we go. She was, your mother was. I mean,
Yep.
there you go. It's all the evidence you need, isn't it?
Fact.
You mentioned Joe Rogan.
Oh, God.
What? We're catching him up on the old listening figures.
Are we? Is that because
We're way off.
the Joni Mitchell fan club have now left as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
I do find the whole Joe Rogan thing hilarious.
Yeah, it's very.
I just want them to. I was going to post this, but I didn't. I was going to say they're getting cross with him because of all the stuff about misinformation.
Yeah.
All they need to do is listen to Joe Rogan interviewing Ted Nugent. Then he'll get taken down.
Okay.
Because Ted Nugent explains how he hires helicopters to shoot pigs.
Yeah. Maybe the McCullough and Malone interviews were just a red herring.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I think
for that?
pandemic stuff, as soon as pandemic comes...
I mean, it's not like any good journalist worth their weight in salt. What? I didn't hear that.
No.
What
It's
did you
the
just say?
same as I did with your egg
Have I got to
ones.
edit something? What?
No, I said, never mind pandemic stuff. Wait till they get onto hamdemic.
What?
Shooting pigs.
Oh, pandemic. Right. Do you want to have a go at that again?
No.
Should we re-record that bit?
This could be the Dr. Zeus episode. Green eggs and ham. Your joke and my joke together.
Yeah,
You're struggling tonight.
I am.
I think this is solid
very
gold.
Good.
I've taken all the Dr. Zeus quotes out of my book.
Have you?
Well, he's been
What,
cancelled in
plagiarism?
America, but then I've just looked at some of
Oh,
his
is everyone have a
life.
go at him as well? Oh, is he? Oh, what? Oh, go on then. What?
I'm not going to
Questionable?
go into... Yeah, questionable.
There's people queuing up. There's almost like a council committee, isn't there? We talk about the common sense committee. It's like a council committee. People sitting around waiting to cancel people.
But then other people are able to say, like Justin Trudeau has come out with some absolute
Shockers, yeah.
shockers
Yeah.
for a guy that not that long ago
And
went
Tony
to a
Blair.
party black-faced,
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
come out and basically said all the truckers are terrorists, racists,
Yeah.
homophobes, and
That's right, yeah.
just slandered
Yeah.
1 million people.
No, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had our Prime Minister standing up again, lying his arse off, saying things that aren't true or unfounded,
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
He was 1 million
Doesn't
people
matter.
out on employment. Did you hear that? He's repeated it. He said we now have 400,000 more people employed than before the pandemic. We actually have 650,000 less. So he's 1 million people out, and he said it again in Parliament today. And it's just like...
So there is a point where there's a certain, you call it the elite, I wouldn't call them elite actually, I wouldn't give them the benefit of that. There's a certain strand of individual in politics or high office that are completely untouchable.
Yes. Yeah.
And not just, Trump's a one-off. It's happening everywhere.
Yes.
Because I came to you in training yesterday, kind of, where are we with all this? Where do I'm in this kind of point of this. It's like I'm done on trying to keep up.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that I need to keep up for this. So I'm a little bit, so when you talk about stuff, I might have an opinion, I might know about it.
Yeah.
I get to the point where I need to turn all this off because it's no good for me.
But
It's no good for anybody.
Just taking this back to enough is enough. You gave 2 examples of what we meant by that. Obviously, one being overwhelm, and then when do you have enough of something? Is there a sort of... I guess it's the law of diminishing returns, isn't it? When you get to the point of, if you're a billionaire, becoming a 2 times billionaire isn't going to make you twice
that's
as
right.
happy.
Yeah.
But I think there's a third enough is enough, which is what you've just said, that we've got to the position, as you say, of the untouchable elite. where somebody like a Prime Minister in Great Britain can make a statement that everyone knows is a lie. It isn't. There isn't, and knowingly makes it, and it wasn't mistakenly. I got my figures wrong.
Yeah.
And I remember when Diane Abbott got things wrong before, or had a drink on a train, and it was she was dragged, absolutely crucified. Yeah, so this guy has lied outrageously and outright lies. The second person in the House of Commons states a truth, i.e., you have told lies.
Yeah. And he gets
thrown
out. Yeah.
But the point about
he was asked to retract his statement, or if he didn't use the word inadvertently lied rather than lied.
But the person that lies,
he lied.
Even when it's been checked, doesn't have to go, sorry, I misled the House by being a million people out. But this is Emperor's new clothes, because and I think this is why Cold War Steve, Yeah, oh yes. Big shout out if anyone isn't looking at Cold War Steve. He's on Twitter and on Insta. Absolutely amazing satirical artist. Absolutely awesome.
He's brilliant.
All his pictures now show Johnson naked.
Yeah.
And I think that is an allusion to Emperor's New Clothes, because what's happening is that he has gone to that point where he is just seen as this naked buffoon walking around, not even aware of his own. He's become so much a parody of himself that he can say what he likes.
Yeah.
And this is one thing, just very, very quickly, I'd like your view on this. We're constantly given deflections so that the elite stay as the elite. And there was a whole massive thing about the decorating of number 10, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And who was paying for it?
Yeah.
Stanley Johnson is a millionaire. His son does not need to go begging to have his flat wallpapered.
No.
His son is probably being paid by Pfizer and I was going to say AstraZeneca. Interesting, they've disappeared now and no one's...
Yeah? Tell me about
They've just disappeared. No one's using them.
No.
They're not as good as the other ones.
I'm still waiting for them to come back so I can have my second jab.
Have a couple of aspirin. But the point I'm making is that we were deflected and distracted about, who's paid for his wallpaper and his carpet? That's bollocks. He's a millionaire. Of course he is. He's the Prime Minister. He has access to whatever money he wants.
Yeah. You know what my view's going to be on this?
Go on.
Go on, have a guess. What would I normally say to that?
He isn't a millionaire.
No, I think, no, that's not it. Well, I think what you're trying to say, there's a bit of a smokescreen, a distraction, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not the most important thing in the world to focus about.
No.
Not now, anyway.
No.
There's something that's taken over. I've brought up Jacob Rees-Mogg a couple of times at training, haven't I? For different reasons. I'll come to that in a minute. But it's a similar kind of thing. Yes, they have money, and I don't care about that. It's not like I don't care where the money came from, as long as it came from legitimate means. You know what I mean? I don't know the ins and outs of that, so I can't comment. His work environment or his work office that is provided to him, then the office should pay for that. It just so happens to be our money. Yeah. But that is the nature of what...
There's living quarters attached or something.
You think the cat gets fed, we're paying for that. The down the street cat, and the door probably gets painted every fucking year, doesn't it? And the number gets painted. All the railings probably get done, and the police and the security. We're all it's like...
And the blindfolds for the police as well.
Very good.
Don't
they just move their masks up?
Wouldn't that be funny that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
After the investigation started, I would having the guy that stands out in number 10 just have a little party hat on, just blowing one of those little...
Yeah.
Just bring a bit of humour to it.
That's your best joke tonight.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's stuff's getting paid for anyway. So it's when people go, have you seen that they've paid for it? I mean, what is disgusting is the amount they've just written off. Like 4 or 5 billion. That just a PPE they just wrote off in the last couple of days.
It's costing £1 million a day storage.
That's like
have you heard?
That's there's a couple of hospital levels of...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how much it costs. How much it costs to build a hospital? £1 billion? There's 5 hospitals, at least, in just one kind of bunch of PPE getting written off.
But you won't have any staff to put in them, so it doesn't really...
Yeah, I mean,
he's leaving that we're tomorrow. Tomorrow he's going to.
But we're more angry. We're more angry about probably wallpaper.
Yes, exactly.
Than that getting written off.
Because we're told to be angry.
I haven't even heard. I read it. I haven't even heard about it anywhere else today.
No.
But this is the thing the Jacob Rees-Mogg, he's just an example. I don't know the fella.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do know is that he has business interests outside of his political life, which makes a trunk load of money. And he's a multi-millionaire. I haven't got a problem with that, Mark.
Mm.
What really bothers me is why he would want to sit on Channel 4 News at like 10:30 or 10:30 at night after he's done a day's pissing around in Parliament to defend that Prime Minister of ours when he's up there talking utter bullshit. I cannot get my head around why he'd want to do that. And he's literally on Channel 4 any opportunity to get him on, he's on there. He's either in the studio or he's on live link or...
But they've been defending the Jimmy Savile statement today.
Oh, I haven't said it. But this is the thing, it's like, what is he doing? It might be that. Has he got too much fucking money? And he's done all the things. He's bought all the toys. He's done the jet ski. You know what I mean? He's driven a bike around his house because he can.
And then fished in the swimming pool.
Yeah. And he's gone, the next thing's probably A-class drugs, isn't it? You know, doing all those things but sniffing coke at the same time. I don't know. Something just to kind of pep things up a bit. But no. He has to go on Channel 4 News and defend the undefendable. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what he is getting. Is his ego so pathetic and weak that that's the kind of massage it needs?
Well, I was listening to Sam Harris again today, and he was interviewing somebody, and some of the stuff that we're going to discuss today came up, and one of the things was around money and power, or money and status, more to the point. And this person was saying that status probably trumps money, and that's what I would suggest.
So is he getting such a kick out of what? I don't even know what he is. He sits kind of two people down from Boris on there. So obviously he's cabinet member, but do you know what I mean? I didn't even know his bloody title. I've no idea. I don't know what he's head of.
No, I don't know. That's an interesting question, actually.
I don't know what, you know.
But the point this other podcast was saying around status is that I guess it is that bit about money can't buy. So the guy was saying that there was a book that had been written by a controversial author who was saying, and this is very much relevant to the enough is enough, by saying enough is never enough. That's what this person was saying. And he was using sex as an example of that, sex and relationships. And one of the examples he gave was that if you're in a relationship, and he was giving the example of in the first year of that relationship, every time you have sex, you put £1 coin in a jar. And then for the rest of that relationship, every time you don't have sex, you take a £1 coin out and you'll still be left with money at the end. And he was saying that relationships and sexual, not necessarily sexual deviance, but sexual proclivity disappears in relationships because of a whole number of factors. And the point he was making was if the pleasure of that honeymoon period, the first year or the first 2 years, starts declining, this guy goes, you need to get more pleasure. So what you might do is go on to another partner or go on to 2 other partners or have polygamy and do something, or then take it to the next level. And this guy's saying you should always chase the pleasure because everything is going to run out, because enough is always enough. You always get to the point, enough is never enough. And it's the same with money. Why do Elon Musk and that, he does still want to get another billion and another billion. He can't spend it, he can't do anything. But the status of being the richest man in the world is something, and this is a clever one, that status is something only money can buy. Being the richest man in the world. But there's nothing else in some ways that money can't buy, but status can. So sitting in the House of Commons and having the ability to say whatever you like because you're untouchable, supporting the Prime Minister,
is the next level.
Is more of a buzz to him than the billions he's got in the bank.
And there is always that point where that isn't the outcome, or it isn't the end. It's you might think it's the end, and you've kind of won and you've completed it, but you haven't. The bar gets reset again, doesn't it? This is from Olivia Goldhill on Quartz.com. She says, whether we're striving for a new job, more meaningful relationships, or personal enlightenment, we need to actively want something more in order to live well. In fact, neuroscience shows that the act of seeking itself, rather than the goals we realise, is the key to satisfaction. I think we have mentioned this before, haven't we?
Well,
With the rats.
Well, we've done it with
Remember the rats?
the dopamine being the anticipation of the event.
Indeed you do. So, neuroscientist Jack Panksepp, I'm sure we have referenced it, but I can't remember. We've done so much content, haven't we? Argues that 7 core instincts in the human brain, anger, fear, panic, grief, maternal care, pleasure, lust, play, and seeking. Seeking is the most important. All mammals have this seeking system, says Panksepp, wherein dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to reward and pleasure, is also involved in coordinating planning activities. This means animals are rewarded for exploring their surroundings and seeking new information for survival. It can also explain why, if rats are given access to a lever that causes them to receive an electric shock, they will repeatedly electrocute themselves. I feel like that's me at the moment.
Not to stay awake.
Yeah. Panksepp notes in his book Effective Neuroscience that the rats do not seem to find electrocution pleasurable. He says self-stimulating animals look excessively excited, even crazed, when they work for this kind of stimulation. So instead of being driven by any reward, he argues the rats were motivated by the need to seek itself. So the human desire to seek can help make sense of studies showing that achieving major goals or even winning the lottery doesn't cause long-term changes in happiness. But our drive to look ahead needn't cause a permanent state of dissatisfaction, as seeking is itself a fulfilling activity. Evan Thompson, a philosophy professor at the University of British Columbia, says that the entire field of philosophy can be seen as an expression of this seeking impulse. Rather than coming up with a philosophical answer and then resting, content with a solution, Thompson says many philosophers would say the quest is an end in itself.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard the end of Johnson's bullshit, have we? Because he's got to find another level. He's got to find another level, right? If he's getting a kick out of this.
Yeah.
Because there is an element of, again, when I came in yesterday going, this shit isn't ending. There's no end, there's no resolution. And I know that life goes on and things change. But none of these things are getting wrapped up. There's been all the stuff through the pandemic that it just rolled into the next thing. It was never kind of, do you know what I mean? It was never kind of wrapped up. There was no kind of closure or anything. It was just.
But there is a sense of closure in one. I take your point that there isn't a conclusion.
But we're all kind of we were kept on that kind of, and it was seeking. If you think we were kind of seeking information ourselves.
Yes.
They were trying to find stuff. We were kind of getting hooked on that, the anticipation of what next, and we were constantly on the edge. There wasn't a.
Well, they've done this on the vaccine mandate, haven't they? They've leaked that they're talking about it, and then they've leaked that it probably will be revoked, and then they've leaked that there's going to be a review, and then they've leaked that there's going to be a vote in the House of Commons.
When you think about
the anticipation, we did this the other day. We did this on the pod the other day, and I was saying actions outweigh words.
Yeah.
But what's happening at the moment is that we're constantly fed the words. Without the accompanying actions, a lot of the time.
All
this
the
is going to happen.
context, really. Yeah. It's,
But the closure bit, I was just going to say, is that everything has a sell-by date, and that is 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because when anything's brought up, something the following day will always trump it.
Yeah.
And it then becomes, I think we're getting to this point, like with fast food, it's fast news. Once something comes up, no matter how terrible. So you've got Djokovic.
Yeah.
That's now gone. Do you know what I mean? Whatever the big thing is, it's got a sell-by date. There isn't still people discussing. Interestingly, people aren't discussing that Australia is in fucking meltdown at the moment, having more deaths than they've ever had by thousands of percent. If you look at the cases definitely, but deaths as well. And yet, the Australian Open had 20,000 people, and it's like.
You said that. You said the final was absolutely rammed, wasn't it? Yeah.
So you kept everyone in your houses. No one died.
Yeah, and you got rid of one of the most healthiest people on the planet.
Yeah, right? You know Omicron is the most transmissible. You open up and everyone is... So either those stringent rules for 2 years were pointless because one day someone has to come out of the Tupperware. But then you're having massive sporting events with massive crowds. Yeah. It's like... You were stopping single people walking in parks, drinking coffee without a mask. It doesn't make any sense.
No, so you think is all this stuff just to we've talked about attention, grabbing our attention, and then that is everything these days. Our eyeballs and our ears are. Yeah. It almost doesn't matter what now, does it?
No.
So is the kind of, maybe it's the idea of people being relevant, organisations being relevant, individuals being relevant. And the only way you can get relevancy is probably in it with brevity, isn't it? Like
Yes.
one day, I'm relevant for a day. 50
Yes.
is 15 minutes of fame, but everyone
Yeah.
seems to be getting 15 minutes every day of.
Yeah.
The fast news thing is good. And we've talked about the slow movement as well. The whole idea of rolling 24 hour news. So element is it doesn't stop. They've got to keep finding it from somewhere.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of people going out and doing some investigative journalism
Mm.
and really digging down and getting some. Do you know what I mean? Putting the time and effort in. It's very rare that now, isn't it?
But also
People
everybody
haven't got the time to watch an hour-long documentary.
everybody can
on
be a
something.
journalist now, can't they? The whole thing with Mason Greenwood. I mean, even going on TikTok, there's videos of him in the car with his girlfriend. There's videos of teammates saying things. There's, the transcript, the audio.
Yeah, everyone's
not
got
transcript, but the audio of it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like there isn't.
You don't need journalists.
No, because you can make your own.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the panic. Maybe that's kind of part of the.
It's definitely
those big organisations, because they're still big organisations and they're still linked to political parties and they're still linked to big business.
Yes.
They all are, aren't they? They're owned by big business.
But they're out-listened by one 54-year-old white male who seems a fairly honest guy and seems fairly rational and is good to listen to and gives everyone a go.
Yeah.
But he outsells the whole of the mainstream media in America, and it's just because I think he's pretty honest. I think honesty is probably the one thing.
His video is really good. Talking about Joe Rogan, obviously, still, but just his kind of, he struggles with the word misinformation. I can see exactly why. And all the things you read about it, we've kind of touched on it, are written by people who have never listened to 1 minute of his show.
Yeah.
Again, we'll be forgotten about it next week. Neil Young will be like, no one cares. I don't think anyone cared at the time apart from Neil Young, right?
Guess who Neil Young's just signed a deal with?
Well, it's not going to be Spotify, is it?
Amazon Music.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'll take the moral high ground. You can get a special offer now. Basically, he's got a bloody discount code, Neil Young.
I knew something was coming out. I said to you, what's he got going on?
He's made a few million out of it, to be honest.
But as I said to you when he said, which wasn't going to come out, it's me or Joe Rogan. And everyone was like, yeah, see you later, mate.
And then you go, perhaps they were all behind it. Spotify have gone, well, we had 50 million listen to Joe. We'll have 100 million now.
Yeah. Do
you mean? I mean, we've all been played, probably.
Yeah, so
because who picked up that tweet? Because it then disappeared. He took it off.
Yeah.
So someone was so eagle-eyed to even pay any attention to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I came in, didn't I, yesterday, just going, I can't tune into this anymore.
Which I think is where we need to go with this discussion, because I think that's the most vital thing. Is you in the garage.
I'm trying to see how I try to bring that back.
Yeah,
to the core. You up. Thank you very much.
Rather than going off a ramble about.
Yeah, and I kind of came in and talked about, I guess the frustration, and it's probably worse when you realise what it's doing to you. You know about the compulsion loop. You know about the soundbite. You're hearing it in real time, knowing full well what they're doing to you and what it's doing to you.
Yes,
that's probably worse than sitting there like a. I mean, we talked about WALL-E before, and you kind of said WALL-E world. Everything's kind of going. We're kind of the dumbing down.
Mm-hmm.
The TV is properly dumbing down, isn't it? It's making us all just sitting there like zombies, just soaking up whatever's been thrown at us. If it makes us eat more, drink more, consume more, it literally is WALL-E coming true, isn't it?
Yeah. So
this is the other struggle as part of this, is that you're forced to be on a side. We talked about sides, didn't we? And we kept you brought up Betamax and VHS, and it is that you've got to be one or the other, and you can't be anywhere in between. And if you're anywhere in between, it's a really lonely place.
Yeah.
I think, without getting too kind of deep and
we haven't got any allies, have you? Apart from maybe your own.
But it's so confusing. If you can see both sides and go, I kind of see where they're coming from. I kind of see where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And those people there are so adamant that there's no other side, and that side is equally as adamant that there's no other side, but also there's nothing in the middle. It's a really awful place to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In some ways, you kind of go, if I am consuming this, I'd rather be so ignorant that I just sat on one side and didn't have that anxiety about, Or maybe I just got angry at the other side. Maybe my only anxiety is aimed at the other side. You're wrong, I'm right. But in the middle, I kind of,
Well, we've done
I
pods
don't know,
that there's no ultimate truth, and that's
Yeah.
the difficulty, is that no matter how forcefully I believe things, firstly,
So why do
there's
we
other
want to?
people's truths.
But why do we want to? Why are we so obsessed with finding out what is true? Because it also gets to that point where even if you did, it doesn't feel like it's the truth. But we've kind of said it doesn't exist anyway.
Yeah.
But we don't learn. Again, I think it's probably that seeking thing. There's something just. Do we really need to? Enough is enough. Do we really need to consume?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, arguably anything. I'm talking about media here, at the levels we currently do. I can't at the levels I'm certainly, but it isn't because there's a little bit of doing it for the pod, but it's got to the point where I'm finding myself checking the news when I don't need to be checking the news, and I literally checked it 30 seconds ago. What has changed? Actually, quite a lot. I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. It changes every 5 minutes. That it has to be a chemical thing in me.
Yeah.
There's something happening. It's exactly what they want, and it's exactly what they're playing to, and that's what I get so frustrated because I have that awareness of it. Yeah,
that is the dopamine now. It isn't even what's delivered. It's just knowing there'll be something new.
But because there's almost no resolution, and there's more injustice, and there's more frustration, and there's more unkindness, more and more and more. Because that's the thing that gets us going, right? Everyone being lovely to each other is boring, isn't it? In the sense of news. But I found myself, becoming vacuous, empty, and kind of, we've done a pod about what's the point?
Yeah.
You start to get really fucking low about
well, there's
all
the
this
nothing
stuff.
matters bit.
And it's like,
And I think that's prevalent, because I think what happens going back to the politics in this country, and especially in Canada, that guy is just off the fucking scale.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was put forward the other day by Schwab going, we have now infiltrated various governments, and then listed Trudeau and New Zealand and the UK and that. And he actually said, we have infiltrated governments. And then this guy is coming out with the rhetoric of hate and...
Yeah.
I cannot understand why the world's just
and why
standing by.
You can't cancel him.
No.
Anybody else would have been cancelled.
Because he is protected.
Yeah,
but going back to your bit about or my quote there about nothing matters, I had this discussion very briefly with Amelia, and I was thinking, when I've been writing my book, I've been looking up something around nihilism, and I'm sort of thinking I have some nihilistic thoughts in some respects, and do you want
to say what that is? We have done it before, haven't we?
Yeah, I'll just...
Do I need to get a definition up?
Yeah, you can do that.
A viewpoint that traditional values and beliefs are unfounded and the existence is senseless and useless. Nihilism is a condition in which ultimate values lose their value. A doctrine that denies any objective ground of truth, and especially of moral truths.
So this is my enough is enough, if you like, and why I have elements of nihilism in my personality, is that one of the things that I listened to on a Joe Rogan was a guy whose name unfortunately I've forgotten, who said, it was Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And I didn't agree with everything Jordan Peterson said. There was a number of things that I felt and Joe Rogan felt were... That's
good, because most people can't understand a word he says. Because it's too eyebrow.
Yeah. But, and you think I go off on fucking... he was talking about...
Sorry, I've interrupted you.
No, it's all right. Yeah. So he was saying, Jordan Peterson was saying that true freedom needs structure. And I gave you that example, which I think was a clunky example of him saying to his students, would you like to play a game? And they said, yeah. And the game is, they sit at a table and he goes to the student, you go first. And the student goes like, I don't know what to do. Like, what? And Jordan Peterson's going, this is the ultimate game. There's no rules. You make up rules.
You can do anything you want, and you don't know what to do.
And it's like, but I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And so to be totally free, you have to have a structure to be free within.
Makes total sense.
And then he used the example of, if I put a chessboard in front of someone and said, right, we're going to play a game, the rules are there, but the structure.
But you're free to move whatever you want, wherever you want.
Yeah, but you understand that you're not going to throw a basketball at the chess pieces because the game then becomes meaningless. That's my fear, is that the structures that have held society together are being burned at such a dramatic rate that you can never go back. And I had this discussion with somebody years ago, and we've mentioned this before. We fostered 2 children, 2 sisters, and they had 15 other siblings, the same father, different mothers. And I said, without being overly pessimistic, the likelihood is that those 17 children, because they'd all been fostered, everyone, because of the likelihood of children that are fostered going to end up being abused, or having been abused and then being abusers, or then having criminal records, is much higher, and having less education because it's a chaotic lifestyle as a child, quite often going into homes of various temporary parents. Nothing against fostering, I did it for decades. That those children in a way almost have their future panned out. So if those 17, there's a likelihood that they will have children at a young age, and that they will have disruptive relationships. And this isn't judgmental.
No, it often follows suit, doesn't it?
And I'm not saying that they haven't got possibilities that they're going to have fulfilling lives. All I'm saying is research would show that if you come from that background, you're likely to have a disadvantage socially. And as it happens, one of the children that we fostered recently has a child. She's doing brilliantly with it. She's a fantastic mother. I'm not saying anything negative about it. But what I'm saying,
she was young.
She was very young, and she's having to have an awful lot of support to be able to keep the baby and blah, blah. But the point I'm making is, of those 17 children, the likelihood is when they have children, some of their inherited conditions or behaviours are going to be handed down, and then the thing escalates. It's a bit...
Condition. It was like, I mean, back to your point about the Jordan Peterson game, those 17 individuals have the freedom, arguably, to do whatever you want. So it's pretty obvious that they're a result of their condition and their environment. That makes total sense. Doesn't it? You could go, well, they could have not had any kids at all, or they could have had them all when they were 30, but they didn't.
But their lifestyle is going to put certain pressures on them.
The structure they came up and
And this isn't even a value judgment. I'm not going, oh, you're bad, you've had kids young. The point I'm making is that what tends to happen, and this is what's happened during the pandemic, is the poor have got poorer and the rich have got richer, because there's been this escalation. If you've got money, you can grow that money exponentially because of opportunities like dodgy PPE contracts or online resources. If you're someone with no qualifications who's on minimum wage, in a way you're stuck there even more than you ever were before because of the discrepancies in the world. And what I was going to go on and say, again, this is not a value judgment that those 17 children are not good members of society, but it's stacked up against them, and it's increasingly stacked up against them. So the point I'm making about the structure is all the structures that might have helped, and in this case it would be a family home, a traditional family values, all the stuff that's being knocked now, all the stuff that's, I wish we just ate roast dinners again. Do you know what I mean?
All around the table together.
Yes. Yeah. All those things, even if you think you're being ultra-conservative and old-fashioned, had a certain function. If you get away the structures which change the structures of sexuality and of gender and of behaviour and of every element, if all those structures go and the cancel culture takes over, anyone can be anything. And this is my enough
whenever
is enough.
They want it.
They can be whatever they want. So they can be offended whenever they want. They can do whatever they want. So if you decide that you are, like I was saying, a lot of children, not a lot, a number of children in Californian schools are now identifying as cats.
Right.
Once you ask a child what they want to identify with, and they come back with, I'm going to be a superhero, I'm going to be a cat. You can't go back and go, no, we meant a boy or a girl, or, whatever other options are. If you open those floodgates, then everybody can be everything. Someone can be a table. So you then don't have the structures within society, because the freedom that you think you're giving breaks down the structures that you need to be free.
No, that's really interesting.
That last bit was good.
Yeah, it was really good.
That last line.
It's really good.
The freedoms
we have to rewind that.
The freedoms that you're given break down the structures that you need to be free.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm going to send that to Jordan.
I think it actually might be his. No, that makes a lot of sense in terms of what we've just gone through, having our social structures broken down, eroded, challenged.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of talking about overwhelm and anxiety and that kind of thing. It makes total sense. As kind of time and society evolves, and we all evolve, you have to adopt new things. You have to embrace. You don't have to, but generally, if you embrace it,
it's hard not to.
Yeah, but there's also a lot, and it feels like everything is getting faster. The acceleration of that. I mean, just you take that, the kind of people, what you identify as. That's a small part of our lives at the moment, but an incredibly important one.
Yeah.
And powerful one, an incredibly complex one to get your head around.
And a daily requirement. It doesn't. You can't just go, I'm this, and then get on with your life. You have to now tell everybody, or be offended if people don't acknowledge it, or fight for people that have a different view of it.
I met with a mate of mine last night, and her kids are in kind of polyamorous relationships with people, with biological male or females who are identifying as opposite, sexes, and these like 17, 18, it's a different world, and an incredibly exciting world for lots of people who didn't fit square peg round hole stuff. They're becoming square pegs in square holes, which is fantastic, isn't it? It's still hard for certain older generations to get their head around it, but if you're kind of open enough and curious enough, you could learn to accept it. It's actually quite fascinating and interesting, and do you know what I mean? It kind of makes life richer and better for it. But what I'm saying is, but the problems that, say, our age groups have aren't, I guess, exclusive. Just because that's kind of a more kind of less structured, more free kind of way of living, doesn't mean there aren't any problems. Doesn't mean there isn't upset and jealousy and confusion, and do you know what I mean? Yeah. So we all experience the same stuff, just with slightly different sets of parameters. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I don't know where all that kind of came from, but we're talking about cancel culture, but are we, am I kind of feeling like I'm in the position where I need to unsubscribe, cancel my subscriptions to a certain way of living?
When you came to training, for the first time, I think you weren't in chaos, and you weren't in. Sorry, I shouldn't put for the first time.
Normally I am.
Yeah. You'd remember to get dressed, everything. No, let me rephrase that. When you came to training, you had, I think, an air of resignation. Yeah. Which probably fits the enough is enough. Yeah. You got to this overwhelm of going, I'm a full sponge. I can't take any more water in, so whatever water is poured on me, other stuff is going to be lost, other water is going to seep out. And I felt, the way you were speaking, that it was almost like if you pour a bucket of water on top of me and I'm already full, some of the stuff that might come out might be the stuff I need to keep. It might be sleep and nutrition and interconnection and socialization. And you then might end up being a sponge that is just full of news and theories and stuff that actually has nothing to do with you. And the conversation we had at the end of that, I thought, you have totally got to that position. And bearing in mind, we're trying to...
Resignation's the perfect word.
Yeah. But resignation can go two ways. On the same as the enough. You can resign yourself to, well, this is how it is. I'm going to be stuck with TikTok for the rest of my life. Yeah. So you give in. Yeah. Or it's resignation that I'm resigning, as in withdrawing from what I've got into.
Amanda, my notice in.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been accepted. Yeah. So bearing in mind...
Willingly.
I'd like to introduce you to your new podcast host, Colin. Because this enough is something we've been talking about for a while. I think that was the. It
was a real last straw moment, kind of final straw moment for me. I was just like, I actually can't do it anymore. Yeah. And you know when I get like that, and I've talked about it before, the flamethrower comes out. Yeah. And I want you to get it. I want the pod to get it. I want. but I know that isn't healthy. But also, I think it was a dejection maybe of I was annoyed at myself because I know better. Like I said, I'm not sitting going, I feel like this and I don't know why. I know exactly why I'm feeling all the things I'm feeling, which makes it even worse because I haven't taken the right steps to put it right.
Mm-hmm.
Having talked about those things a billion times on this podcast, I still can't do it. There's still something. I'm replacing something with something else. We kind of touched on the addiction, not quite addicted. Well, I guess I am quite. There's things I'm addicted to. The crap that's going on. There's an element of finding myself on TikTok before I go to bed for an hour. Just kind of, I'm just lost and just don't know why. But most of it's making me feel bad. Most of it's FOMO. Most of it's making me feel, less of an individual.
Yeah, because you haven't got an OnlyFans page.
Yeah,
or you have,
and it's just not doing very well.
Doing very well. I think one of the things that you said there, your awareness of your position is the problem,
and that kind of hurts even more. I think, because I know about these things. I'm kind of, a lot of my business is about these things.
Yeah,
and there's other things that we talked about addiction and dire consequences. There are things that aren't getting the attention they need. And they absolutely need them. They're burning. So, and I don't want them to. A bit like the war, the stuff coming out of my full cup.
Yeah.
That I don't want to come out. Yeah. And there's no long-winded, how do I go about this and what do I need? I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I can do it immediately.
Yeah.
Not Monday. Not,
Not weaning yourself off TikTok.
Yeah, but they have to go.
Yes.
They have to go.
Yeah.
And I have to stop coming back. I've stopped coming on, putting the TV on, and Channel 4, then ITV, whichever way around it is, one after another.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah. And what you're listening to has been refined. Yeah. For a certain audience. This isn't the quote, but there was something I saw the other day that I really liked. I sort of adapted a bit. It said, "Why are stupid people more dangerous than clever people?" And it says that stupid people think they know everything and clever people know they don't. And that summed it up for me, because if you've got an inquiring mind, you're going to find the chinks in the armour that we've been given in terms of information. Yeah. If you're not looking for those chinks and you just go, "Oh, did you hear? Cloth masks are brilliant," because someone who sells cloth masks said that. Do you know what I mean? That's a bad example.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that's it, because you're inquisitive mind. But I think you're right. Just going back from alluding to the addiction bit, to break the addiction that I had, it had to be. It can't be a partial thing. Yeah. It couldn't be, just gamble 5 days a week and lose it, because I could lose all my money in 5 minutes a week. It doesn't. That's right. But I think it's really interesting when you have to press the button and go, right, I'm deleting TikTok, you're going to feel a sense of loss, and you're going to have a withdrawal, and you're going to have, I might just have a last look, or I'll keep it there, but I'm not going to look. So,
and since this has kind of been getting worse, I've stopped hydrating, I've stopped taking my supplements, I made all my lunch and then didn't take any of it to work for a week. Yeah. And I'm just going, it's just kind of hit me like a train going, what am I doing? What am I doing? Do you know what I mean? There's some things I can't control that are difficult, but the things I can, there's no excuse for the things I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
You came in here earlier and talked about intentions. Because I'm glad you did. Because I didn't feel we had a takeaway today. Okay. And I didn't want our kind of pods to become a bit of a win. I think they've been all right.
I don't think this. I think what we've done is come to a. There was two things I was going to say in terms.
Sorry, go on.
Just backing up what you said. So I don't know if I've shared this on the pod, but I've shared it with you. I had communication with somebody, not in this country, someone I don't know. I think I did mention it.
You mentioned it to me off, I think.
Yeah. So I'm not going to go into detail, except to say that this person found themselves in a very sad and bad place and reached out to me. And part of me was thinking, the same as TikTok, I should be turning this off. I cannot allow myself to either become a rescuer for someone whose name I don't even know, whose motives I don't know, and I don't know if it's a person.
Yeah, right.
It could be a troll farm in Macedonia who have caught up on the fact that I've been talking about addictions and mental health, have created this person, and have been playing me like a fool. And I think it's a real person, but I've got no knowledge that it has. And this was something I was going to put on an Insta story the other day, and I was trying to make it a bit better. I was going to say something like, do you realise that most of the accounts on Twitter aren't people? Do you realise that most of the people on TikTok aren't people? And do you realise that nuts aren't a good source of protein? And those are three things that I think most people would go, oh, I didn't know any of those. Because everything now is so real on TikTok. A lot of that isn't people. It's computer images made to look like people. And that Turing effect of us being able to tell the difference has gone. Because we want them to be people, because we have attachments to them. Because TikTok shows the same people every day. You go, I wonder what they're wearing. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what football match they're playing. So the point I was going to say is something happened today where I have made contact with somebody else who has similar interests to me and has similar mental health issues. And this person put something up that was quite provocative to me. And I've responded in a way, I think, which is almost like you're sending off of TikTok, is that I cannot continue to immerse myself in something that puts my life or my mental health at risk. And in this case, I've done something which I just feel is a sticking plaster to make sure I just don't jump in.
Right. But there's another step you can make, is there?
Well,
that isn't a sticking, but it's more.
Well, there's two
final.
Ways. There's two ways. One is to go, this ain't my problem. I've got enough problems of my own. My life is chaotic enough without taking on somebody else's. Or the other option is to dive in and go, right, I'm the only person that can help this person, which is probably going to make me crumble and whatever. Right. So the point I'm making around intentions is that I think your intentions are, you have recognised the effect it's having on you. Social media in its widest, especially the news elements. You're clever enough or knowledgeable enough to know what you can do about it. You're stating your intentions now to me and to the listener and to and then if you then do not act upon those, then I would suggest from you as a recovering addict that you have a difficulty, because you don't have anywhere to go. Once you've said, this is affecting my life, this has consequences on me, but I'm still going to do it, I would then say to you as an addict, that is where it becomes dangerous. Because you've made the argument as a rational, logical person, in wise mind. I've
said enough is enough, but can't do anything about it.
But if you don't do anything about it when you've said enough is enough, then you're on a downward slope. And I think this is the takeaway from here, is that if we recognise something is having that effect, and the example I gave to you today very, very quickly was about this client who was always 3 minutes late. And I finally had a discussion on her, and my enough is enough is, for your well-being, just do this slightly differently, and you won't be 3 minutes late. And then you won't be stressed, you won't drive too fast, you won't apologise to me, and you won't feel bad about yourself for having failed again. And 3 minutes late doesn't seem a big thing, but she has now all the answers.
And I think it is the actual act of removing those things or slightly changing those things. It's actually quite small. The output is massive, isn't it? Disproportionately so, actually.
I don't think it's small. I think when you go to delete it, you'll be in two minds.
No, I also meant the actual action.
The action of
to
what?
Physically delete an app off my phone.
That's what I'm saying.
No, without any thought, without any the physical exertion of doing set. Am I making sense?
No.
Me just going on my phone, clicking delete and getting rid of it as an action is a very small action.
Okay, got you.
It takes literally a couple of seconds. Of course, it's not quite that simple, but like I said, I'd like to think the effect of that, the outcome of that, is going to be disproportionately beneficial to me.
Totally.
It won't feel it at the time. That's probably what's going to make it slightly difficult to do it. But
it won't take a couple of seconds, though. Believe me. You'll look at it and you'll start having a discussion in your mind whether you're going to do it or not.
Am I doing it here?
That's what I was trying to force you to do very subtly.
Here's the thing.
Here's a podcast first.
You're not very subtle. Right, TikTok.
Yeah.
Uninstall. Okay.
What about all those porn sites?
You saw it. You saw it go, didn't you?
Yeah.
Getter's getting it as well.
Is Getter like Twitter?
Yeah, it's the new Twitter.
Getter's gone.
Getter's gone. Twitter's going as well.
Fuck.
What? Say
Cold turkey.
Uninstall.
Yeah.
You're going to be a mess at training tomorrow. I'm actually get some sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Facebook. I don't look at Facebook, so Facebook can stay.
Okay. Just
what
we were saying about verbalizations. Just repeat what you've just said.
I don't look at Facebook.
Yeah. So it can stay.
So
yeah, something I don't use. Do you need it for work?
It's kind of, yeah, but I can log in on thing.
Okay.
So it's fine. Uninstall. It's gone.
But that makes sense. It's
my entire social folder's got YouTube and Facebook Business Suite. That's going as well. Gone. I've only got YouTube. I like YouTube because it's full of conspiracy theories. My 9/11 ones, which I can't live without. What? I'm not letting that one go.
No. And the moon.
Yeah. They've gone. Oh, Instagram. Oh, fuck.
Why would you get rid of Instagram?
Because I spend too much time on it.
Well,
hold on a minute.
No. You were talking...
Only because you're on it.
No,
and I'm not going to see your posts.
Not at all. You were getting rid of things that were having a negative effect.
Yeah,
you have never
Instagram
mentioned that if it's only on time, you can manage that. You were saying about TikTok was the content was causing you the problem.
Yeah.
That you had fears of missing out, that you were being shown things... Basically, someone else was deciding. The difference about Instagram...
That's because I haven't talked about Instagram and the stress it brings me, Mark.
If it brings you stress, then fine. I wasn't aware that it did.
It does, yeah. I mean, you might have to do our social... Well, there you go. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's like when it comes to, work again and our pod, how am I going to tell everyone? Because I've deleted Instagram. I've got to delete our podcast Instagram account, and therefore I can't put my little pictures up and tell everyone about our new podcast. Do you see what I'm saying? It becomes a little bit of a problem, and it sits there. Or,
but the rest
shall I now make a promise? Talk about, because part of the intention thing I didn't get to was, you said it's a good idea to. I'm sure we talked about this before. When I lock the garage door now, I say to myself out loud in my head, my bike helmet,
"Yeah,
I've locked the garage door."
Yeah,
it's a brilliant little tip.
Yes,
because you don't go off going, "Did I fucking just do that?" You go, "Yeah," because I.
And for
said
everyone
it to
listening who uses hair straighteners, do the same.
That's
and if you want, take a picture of the plug point.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Hair straighteners are a massive worry for people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, just say it's good to say it out loud. But you're talking about intentions.
Mm-hmm.
You said it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the day. Lots of people talk about saying something out loud that you're grateful for.
Yeah,
which I haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
Might try it. I'm a little bit. I don't know why I'm so cynical about that one. But I might try it. And
but my example today...
I need to fill my time with things that I probably haven't done rather than things I'm familiar with.
Surely
me just trying something like, I'm going to say 3 things before I get on my bike or whilst I'm on my bike between bike and work that I'm grateful for. No one can hear me over the stupid sound of my bike and in my helmet. I can shout them to myself as a morning kind of experiment.
Mantra.
Right? Yeah. I could do that, or go right. I've got or 3 in total, 1 intention, or 1 outcome for the day. I could try things like that.
I think the saying
There's
it
no
out
harm,
loud.
what? Yeah, I think it's. But yeah, saying it out loud.
The example
really
I gave today when I came into the kitchen was saying the whole thing about to-do lists and to do all those, not knocking them at all, but everybody. I read this the other day. Everybody has a voice in their head, and that voice has a tone.
Yeah.
So, you talk inside your head, don't you? Either to yourself or commentating
it's your
on
silly
things.
Voice.
Mine's bloody non-stop. That's the problem. I don't.
Yeah, but is it your voice?
Yes, it's my voice.
I am Mark.
Yeah. It's from Dudley, yeah. And but
Roy Mark.
the point I'm making is when I've said, so today when I said out loud, I'm only going to put positivity on my stories,
Yeah.
there was something I wanted to post that was negative, and I'm thinking, no, I've said that out loud.
That's the stuff everyone's waiting for. Come on.
Yeah, but it's not a to-do list. It's not post stories. It's going further than that. It's making a promise to yourself.
Could you do that every day until the next podcast?
What, only have positive posts?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And if I...
I don't want to do
I
it
was just about to say something as if you'd said, yes, I think that's a great idea, Damo, and you went, no. Absolutely not. I'm not
Honesty
fucking
is the
mental.
best policy.
Yeah. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it a real good go. And there's some things I'm going to change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, and there's some things I'm not going to do. I'm going to, and it's not one of that. I'll just try that one. I'm going to do. There's a lot. I think I have them in my head. The things I need to do. That is a good start.
It's a great start.
And I'm going to turn my phone off and leave it downstairs to
What,
charge.
at night? Go you.
Yeah, I won't say. Yeah, I've said that out loud, haven't I? Talk about intentions. I was thinking, no, I need to say. I've just said that out loud.
Yeah.
I've actually recorded it and put it on the internet. So,
Can I just say one last thing just before we finish?
no, I haven't got time.
Okay.
What? It costs money, this hard drive space.
For everybody that's listening that feels that they might have similar thoughts to you, that maybe social media is taking over, or that they should do something about it, they could control it. This is just a shout out. Get your phone now, and I'm not telling you to delete TikTok. What I'm doing is
You just fucking did that to me.
No, that's to you. I'm not saying this to other people.
That's
what
fine,
I'm saying, because I don't know other people's position, but if they're going, actually, I can empathise with what he's saying. I think I spend too long TikTok, and I don't like the content, and I don't feel in control.
Yeah.
If you look at that little icon now and go, I can't actually push it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling anyone to push it. I'm
Have a
just
think-
saying,
yeah,
look at
have a
it.
think about
And
it.
if you say to yourself, no, I can't, it's no different from the bottle of wine in the fridge.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think, because I'm even thinking now, I'm not going to follow suit.
No.
I'm really proud of what you did, but I'm not going to do it.
And also, this isn't a big, social media news.
No.
This isn't a big, I think it's amazing.
You're looking after you.
Yeah, there's just some things I've got to do because there's other things, but they, that's for another episode. But that's I've just got to do it.
Yeah, no, I think it's brave.
So hopefully in the next pod you can tell me what the hell's going on in the world. And I'll be sitting there going, no, he never did.
There's loads
Shut
of
up.
21-year-old women in short skirts dancing. That's all that's happened. Nothing's changed.
I'm putting TikTok back on now. All right, that's all we've got time for. That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening to us as usual. Remember, you can follow us on the socials by searching for imfinecast, and feel free to drop us an email at imfinecast@gmail.com. So in the next episode, we're going to revisit our BPD trilogy. It was a trilogy, wasn't it?
So it'll now be a quadrilogy.
That's right. Who's so clever?
I wonder what 4 is. Perhaps no one ever writes. Well, J.K. Rowling did, didn't they? They. She. That was a funny slip, wasn't it?
I've just typed in trilogy but 4 into Google. A tetralogy.
Oh.
Quadrilogy.
Oh,
You are actually really clever, aren't you? I do apologise. A wise one. So we're gonna have a follow into that. Any thoughts on that, Mark? So I've just sprung it on you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Especially as I guess there's 2 things why I think that's a good idea. Number 1, in a nutshell, is I looked the other day and still people are listening to the other 3, especially the first one. It's like still
It's done billions, isn't
regular.
it?
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. And I think there's probably quite a lot I've learnt myself, because like I'm not in therapy now, and there's other things that, it'd be worth a revisit, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So until then, look after yourselves.
Yeah.
I've got to sound like Jerry Springer, didn't I? Look after yourselves and
Be
each
safe.
other. No, but I think it's a good message, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can put it more articulate than me. Go on, you kind of wrap it up for me. You know what I'm trying to say.
No, I think that's enough.
Oh,
Look
really?
after yourself. Yeah.
All right. Or when you feel enough is enough, It probably is. And that sounds daft. But we're always second guessing ourselves, aren't we? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Nope.
We'll always try and reframe the things we're doing. I mean, some people will just kind of, give up at the drop of the hat. But there's plenty of us who'll just kind of keep going because we've got to be strong for ourselves, or we think we have. We've got to be strong, we think we have, for others. Well, I've done it, and I don't know whether you do it, but there's probably people out there do it that go, there's other people who've got far more pressing problems than I have. I think a lot of us fall into that trap.
Makes sense.
So we go, I feel like I'm at the end of my tether, but we'll just go, it'll be fine. I'm just had a bad day. I'm just a bit tired. It'll probably all be fine tomorrow. And it probably won't be. It might be. But we try and push on, I think is what I'm saying.
Is it
when we just need to bloody stop?
The graphic I put up today, the first graphic on my Insta stories that showed a fuel gauge. And it said, when we take a break, and the fuel gauge was on like reserve with the red light flashing, and when we should take a break is when it's a quarter full.
Yeah.
So I think that's maybe the analogy you're making.
That's exactly what I was after from you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Right, we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
No.